High school is a challenging time and an exciting time in your life. It's a time when you're going to grow, you're going to learn new things, you're going to experience new things, and you're going to begin setting out the path for your future. But to make the most of it, you need to have a plan. And to make that plan, you need to have some strategies that are going to help lead you to success. It's very important that you set a foundation for yourself. The first thing you need to do is develop the skills to build a solid foundation of success. And you can do that by setting clear goals, managing your time, and setting up a positive study environment. Hey there guys, my name is Justin Collar with Thrive Success Services, and today we're going to discover several things that can help you become an A+ student while you're in high school. When I talk about setting goals, you probably automatically think that I just mean that you need to set goals for your grades and your academics, like maybe you want to be valedictorian in your class, or you want to get all A's this year, or things like that. But I'm also talking about personal goals as well. How do you want to grow as a person? How do you want to grow as a friend? How do you want to grow as an athlete or an artist? Those things are equally important. You see, whenever you have a balance between academics and your personal life, and you have goals that you're working towards in both, you're going to enjoy your high school experience a lot more. Now, one of the things I like to remind high schoolers of is that for the first time in your life, grades actually do matter more than they have in the past. I know that you've probably worked hard on your grades in the past. I know that your parents have had high expectations for you when it comes to your grades in the past. But in high school, the game changes because now you're not just working to be promoted to the next grade. You actually have to earn credit in order to be considered a sophomore, a junior, or a senior. So don't forget that whenever you're struggling in that class and your grade starts to slip, that's not a time to give up. That's a time to discover who can help you so that you can get your grade to the point that you want it to be in and you can continue to reach those goals. When it comes to time management as a high schooler, one of the simplest tips I can give you is to utilize a planner or a calendar. You have a calendar app on your phone. I personally prefer to use paper planners because I like to write things out and be able to erase and scribble. But it's very important that no matter which format of those you use, that you get into the habit of putting down your big events on your calendar. Some examples of big events are quizzes and tests when it comes to academics. When it comes to extracurricular activities, you might want to put down your practices, your performances, and your game days. And when it comes to your personal life, you want to schedule those important times like the times you want to hang out with your friends, study times, and any other personal goal that you've set for yourself. One of the things that I really like to tell people is that if you don't write it down, it's just not going to happen. So you may hope to study for a test, but if you don't carve out time, you're never going to make the time to study for that test, and it'll be here before you know it. So make sure you kind of practice using a calendar, even if you're just writing down a few big things a week so that you can start practicing time management. It's really going to help you out. The third thing to consider in this section is your study environment. Listen, if you're just plopping down on the couch and you're trying to get through your work, that's not going to be a good study environment for you because you have so many distractions. You should find a place in your house where you can be secluded, where you can be comfortable, and where you can set up a designated workspace where all you do there is work. I do this for myself. I have an office in my house that I work in, and I don't do anything else but work in that room so that I am in the mindset of work when I sit down at my desk. Now, you may not have an entire room that you can take over, but maybe a corner of your bedroom or a spot in your house that people don't go to often is perfect for something like this. Provide yourself with all the materials you'll need. Make sure it's near a plug outlet if you're using your laptop or your Chromebook, and make sure you have writing materials so that you can get to work as soon as you sit down. I promise if you take my advice on setting up a study space, you are going to become a more productive student. Now that we have the foundation laid for success, let's talk about step number 2, and that's really focusing on academics more than anything else. And we're going to look at some study tips that are going to help you in this area. The first thing you need to do is become an active learner. And all that means is that you take as much energy and focus as you can and put it into your lessons that your teachers are teaching. How many times have you been in a lesson and you catch yourself daydreaming, or you really just want to check your phone, or you're making plans for something that's happening outside of class? I'm guilty of that too, but whenever we do those things, we're not taking in the valuable information that our teachers are giving us in order to be successful on our upcoming homework, quizzes, assignments, projects, and exams. One way that you can become an active learner in high school is to simply take notes. Now, I'm willing to bet that not many of your peers do that, and that's why you're here watching this video, because you want to rise above. But take some notes in a way that makes sense to you. There's many different methods. You can look at the Cornell note-taking method, or you can just come up with your own that works for you. But the act of writing down what your teacher's saying, even if you don't really know if it's the right thing to write down or not, will activate something in your brain that will help you remember the information way more than if you were to just sit there and start daydreaming. It's also important for you to engage in class discussions. Whenever you engage in conversations in the classroom, you're not just taking in the information, but you're also attempting to put the information back out into the atmosphere, which is really going to help you learn what the concept is that you're discussing. Because you see, if we just sit and get, then we're never going to put into practice the new things that we're learning. So when you talk to a classmate, whether you're working in a group or whether it's a discussion that your whole class is having, if you're the person who is talking about it and working through it and asking questions and trying to explain it from your perspective, you're going to learn and solidify that concept far quicker than anybody else in the class will, especially those who aren't actually participating. Kind of in a similar vein, I would suggest that for especially your difficult classes, maybe some of those AP or dual credit classes, you form study groups with your friends. Now, it's very important that you all set up some norms, some expectations for these study groups so that they don't just turn into hangout sessions. But one of the things that these study groups can really do for you is give you more of that practice and communication time. Like I said about class discussion, the more you talk about what you're trying to learn and you talk it out and you work it out together, the better you're going to learn it. So, if you set a time aside each week to study with a group of like-minded friends who are focused on academic excellence, you're going to have those discussions that will further solidify what it is you're learning in each class, and it's just going to turn into success for you. The last tip, and the one that I think probably high schoolers skip the most, is consistent review. Now, that doesn't mean just reviewing for the one test that's coming up next, but it means going back and reviewing the material that you've learned all year. Most of you are going to be given semester exams and finals, and you'll want to make sure that you understand all of the material for those things. Also, in a lot of different classes, your knowledge builds on each other. So when you learn a concept of math on week 1, you need to know that concept for week 2 and week 3 and week 4 and so on, and it just keeps going. So the sooner you can master those early concepts in your classes, the better you're going to perform when it comes to the later concepts in the classes in semester 2. One of the courses that comes to mind for this is calculus. If you don't know the beginning work of calculus, you're not going to be successful in the later work of calculus when it gets really hard. And so one of the ways you can do that is every time you have a test, just keep that test if your teacher allows you, or keep the review that you had for that test and use that to go back and study again, maybe plug in some different numbers or different concepts or different ideas if it's not in math, and then learn together on how to continue to strengthen those. You can simply just take your old reviews that teachers give you and build that into your study schedule. You don't have to restudy the whole thing, but maybe pick some of the areas or the concepts that you didn't master on that test and make sure that you continue to know how to work through those processes. Speaking of studying for your general assignments and projects and keeping up with time is all important, but exam preparation takes a different level of study. So let's talk about that. The first thing you can do is figure out a way to take a practice test. There's tons of online resources for every single subject that you could possibly be taking these days. And so I would suggest going on to Quizlet or Quizzes or Khan Academy or something like that and seeing if someone's already made a review over the topic that you're about to test on, and take a few practice tests to see the areas that you're strong in and then the areas that you probably need to study a little bit more in. You also want to take advantage of any reviews and study materials that your teacher provides for you. I know that a lot of the high schoolers that I've worked with in the past, they didn't see the value in the reviews and just use them as another daily grade, but really what your teacher is giving you is a wealth of knowledge in order to help you prepare for that future test. One of the things that I would always do with my reviews is I would turn each question into a flashcard. I would take some index cards and a pen, and I would handwrite out all the questions and answers, vocabulary words, and anything else that I thought were important. And then sometimes I wouldn't even study with the flashcards. The act of simply writing them out helped to put the knowledge in my brain that I needed. So that's just another tip for you there. Another important thing that we often forget is academic success is also tied to a healthy lifestyle. If you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not fueling your body correctly with the food that you eat, you're not going to be successful on your test. Hydration is another super important thing. Drink lots of water regularly throughout the day, and you're going to see your performance in life in general just go up whenever you focus on these few things. But you should especially focus on them before a big test. Now, another area that I want to talk to you about for being successful in high school is relationships, because high school's not all just about academics. High school's about our social lives and how we're growing and progressing in those areas as well. One of the things that I wish every high schooler would do a better job at is connecting with teachers. This is such a valuable relationship that so many students miss because they're either intimidated by their teacher, they think that that's not going to benefit them in any way, or they just simply don't care to take the time to build that relationship with their teachers. But if you miss out on this step, it's a huge mistake, because I guarantee you, your teachers want you to be successful. They want you to be someone who is making good grades. They want you to have a future, and they actually want to help you do that. But depending on your attitude in class, the way you treat your friends, the way you treat your teachers, that's really going to depend on how much help you're able to get. So some tips that I have for this is to, number one, just build a relationship by going to a couple of tutorials in the beginning of the school year. Even if you don't need the tutorials, it's good to go to get clarification on things like expectations for essay writing, turning in your assignments, and your teacher's going to see you in a positive light because you're making an effort to come and learn a little bit more than what your peers are. The other part of high school relationships is you really need to cultivate positive friendships with the people who are around you. Listen, I know in high school that you really focus on making sure that you're in the good crowd or the popular crowd, but let me tell you what's a little more important than being popular. You see, you have goals, you have drive, you have a desire, because you're here, you're right now, you've made it to this point in the video. Most people haven't even made it this far. So if you're still watching right now, you definitely have a plan for your future. Part of that plan can be completely disrupted and destroyed if you surround yourself with the wrong group of friends. You see, your friends have the ultimate influence over who you are. I'm sure you've heard of the term peer pressure before, right? Peer pressure is very real. And so you want peers who are pressuring you to be excellent. You want peers who are pressuring you to do well in your grades. You want peers who are pressuring you to become an excellent athlete, an excellent musician, an excellent thespian, an excellent whatever it is you're involved in, right? You want people who build you up with positive phrases, not break you down with competition and negative feedback. It's so important that if you have friends in your life who make you feel terrible because they are not on the same path as you, that you just get rid of those friends. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's an important thing to do because it's going to help you with your success, it's going to help you reach your goals, it's going to help you with your mental health, and it's going to help you overall become a better person. Find the people who are willing to fight for you, who stick with you, and who want nothing more than for you to become a successful high schooler. The next section I want to talk to you about is dealing with challenges. You see, challenges are something that we're all going to face, and if you decide that you're never going to have hard times, I have bad news for you. Hard times definitely will come. So, instead of waiting and pretending like they're not going to come, I want to give you some tips and tricks on how to prepare for the challenges so that when they do come, you can handle them well. The first thing is to overcome procrastination. This is the killer of anyone's success, whether you're in high school, whether you're in college, or whether you're an adult. We all procrastinate. But procrastination, waiting until the last minute to get anything done, is the easiest way to sabotage any plans for success you have for yourself. One of the steps in overcoming procrastination is you really have to identify the root cause. What is causing you to procrastinate? Maybe you don't understand the assignment fully. Well, then you should probably go to tutorials so that you can get some help. Maybe you're just too tired and you don't have the energy to do it. Well, then maybe you should start going to bed earlier so that you have some better energy and that you can build up yourself so that you can get those assignments complete. Maybe your schedule is just so busy that you can't find the time to get things done because you're always running from meeting to practice to event and so on. Well, maybe it's time to reevaluate your schedule and see something that you need to cut out so that you can be successful. Whatever it is, identifying the root cause is an important step to overcoming procrastination because that's the first step to getting things done. Another strategy that I would suggest for overcoming procrastination is to simply break your tasks into smaller chunks. For example, whenever I start a big project, let's say I'm going to create a new course, right? That's got modules and lessons and I've got to write scripts and all kinds of things. Well, if I look at the big overall project, then that's going to become quickly overwhelming and I'm going to retreat back into myself and I'm going to procrastinate. I'm not going to get things done on time. But if I break it down into small chunks where it's like, okay, well, today I'm just going to write one script. Tomorrow I'm going to film that script. And then the next day I'm going to edit that script. That makes it a little bit more manageable, right? Because I'm not looking at the whole entire big thing that I need to do. Instead, I'm breaking it down into small bite-sized pieces that feel a lot more manageable. You can do the same with your assignments, with your projects, and anything else, and that'll be another step to helping you overcome procrastination. Another thing that I want to talk to you about when it comes to dealing with challenges is it's important to learn how to manage your stress. Unfortunately, stress is just a reality of life, and it affects some of us more than it does others. And if you feel like you're getting to the point of stress where you can't handle things, then you really need to use some techniques that are going to help you out. One of the techniques I suggest to everybody is breathing. Simply oxygenating your brain through deep breaths in through your nose and then breathing back out through your mouth 5 to 10 times can be so calming and so rewarding. And I know it sounds simple, but I promise if you try it out, it's really going to help. The next thing I suggest you do is if you're at a point where you're feeling so overwhelmed and you can't overcome it on your own, you got to reach out for help. There's no shame in that. You can reach out to your school counselors, your parents, a trusted medical provider. But I just got to tell you, if you're in that place where stress is taking over your life and you can't get anything done because of it, there is no shame in looking to someone else to get some help. And I hope that you do. I've had to do that in my own life. I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with needing help and it's perfectly normal. So if you get to that point, please, please, please get that help because you can overcome it. It's not something that has to last forever. It's just a temporary time in your life. So there you have it. There's some A+ strategies for being successful in high school. I hope that you found some value in this video. And if you did, if you could do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with those who need it. My name again is Justin Collard. I'm with Thrive Success Services. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. And don't forget, if you are on your college journey right now, I have a college checklist. It's in the description below, and I would love for you to check that out. It's completely free, no strings attached. It's going to give you all the planning steps from researching the college that you want to go to, picking out your major, all the way through financial aid and everything you need to know to get accepted. So please, if you're thinking about college, even if you're a freshman, it's a good thing to start thinking about researching colleges. Just go ahead, take that free checklist from me, my gift to you, and I hope that you find your success.